say, at what point do you realize a relationship isn't serving you anymore?
Damn.
We're going to get straight into it.
It's given.
What's it given?
I would say when it's too toxic, when you're constantly arguing, you're not bettering each other, you don't feel yourself progressing, because when you get in a relationship, it's all about adding to the other person. So if you feel like you're in the same spot as, you first met the individual, I'm the cut tired, I feel like.
Yeah, when your money ain't going up, it's not serving you no more. When you're still in the same financial place, when you're still in the same spiritual place, when you're not really praying no more, when you're not doing the things that you used to when you used to be home alone and stuff, the relationship is not serving.
I think this is an important part of the conversation because women are the ones who file for divorce more than men. Women are the ones who decide that they don't want to do it anymore and they walk away. And so I think hearing this point of view is extremely important, and it's exposing a lot of the nature of women.
I don't know. Like, I feel like it depends on the relationship. Like, it's some relationships, I feel like every relationship goes through things. But, like, if it's at a certain, I don't know. I don't got the answers, Sway. Flip me out. I don't know.
Well, have you ever been in a relationship all of a sudden things started to go sour?
No, like, I have been in those relationships, but then it's like, there's certain, like, I feel like there's some relationships where it's like, you kind of just know. It's like, it's over. But I feel like there's other relationships where it's like, sometimes it's worth fighting for. You might be in a rough patch. So it's like, it really just depends on what your goals are, what it is that you want to accomplish in this relationship. If you have a certain thing that, like, if y'all both have a certain end goal in mind, like, it's a lot of variables.
Let me ask you a personal question.
Before he asks that question, I just want to say that I respect that woman's answer the most out of everybody else's answer. And I don't know if you saw the look on the woman on the end's face when she said, you can go through a rough patch. But a lot of women have been showing over and over again that they are not willing to stick it out in relationships. Like, the minute that things are not feeling good, the minute that things aren't going their way, like, they want to run for the hills and they're ready to say, like, no, I'd rather be with somebody else that makes me feel like this. And I think a lot of women don't understand the fact that, like, hey, you could be the reason why you're not growing within this relationship because you are being shown a version of yourself that you don't like, and you'd rather run away from it or run for the hills than actually face it head on and grow. So you're running away from this relationship thinking that it's done, but it's actually showing your inability to grow and evolve, right? So you're actually at a space that you're going to keep repeating the same cycle. When the spark is gone, you run. When the spark is gone, you run. Until you realize that if you want to be with somebody for the long haul, it's going to go through ups and downs. It's going to cause reasons for you to have to grow.
Oh, God.
Let's say you was in a relationship, right?
God.
Maybe it's like a 3-year-long relationship, right? And
you said 3 years, sir?
Yeah, 3 years, right? And let's say your significant other wanted to follow their dreams, but you wanted a family. Is that something worth fighting for?
I do think that's something worth fighting for. I don't think that it would be fair to restrict my significant other to a certain, like, if they haven't accomplished what they needed to accomplish before they have a family. Like, especially as a woman, like, I know for me, once I have a family, I'm not going to be able to do the things, like, I'm a filmmaker. I work on set 14 hours a day. I can't do that with a 6-month-old. Like,
so you don't feel like you can accomplish your dreams while still being in a relationship? Or do you feel like you have to relinquish your relationship because you need to now automatically change your dream?
Well, it depends, because if it's a situation where, like, my significant other does not want to relocate, if my significant other doesn't want to, like, do certain things with me, then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to we may have to put this on pause for a minute. If like, say my significant other's in Atlanta, but I need to go to California, and he don't want to go to California with me, but it's like, dang, like, I'm about to be able to be a freaking showrunner on an HBO Max show. It's like, I gotta go. Like, that doesn't mean that I don't love you, that I don't want to be here, but it's like, yo, like, I have things that I have to accomplish for myself before I can give up half of me or become one with someone else. Like, you have to be whole before you get married. Like, you have to be whole before you have kids. Like, you got to be intentional with these things. So it's like, nah, I don't think that it's like, oh, I don't love you, or it's like, we not together. But, like, I gotta do me, boo boo. You doing you, like, you feel me? Like, we both gotta be at our height of heights before we decide to have a family, so that we don't resent each other the whole time.
But what if y'all are not on the same page, though?
Ooh, y'all
then
gonna
what?
be hot.
What if y'all can't come to a
to a compromise?
Well, if you can't come to a common ground, then that's why y'all are probably separated.
Oh,
but that doesn't mean that I don't love you and that you don't love me, and that doesn't mean that I'm following my dreams and being with other people. That can just means that we just doing our own thing for right now, and if it's in God's will, then we gonna be together. Come on, y'all better quote me.
I think that she's extremely honest, right? And I have to say that in this world of individualism, there is a lot that, how can I say this? There's a lot of women, men as well, but there's a lot of women who are in a space that they're like, oh, I have to fulfill my dreams, because maybe when they were growing up, they heard their mother say, well, I couldn't fulfill any of my dreams because I had to raise you. And so they kind of take that and hold on to it and run with it. And you feel like, well, I have to fulfill my dreams. And there's a point that for some instances, like, some women need to go out there and quote unquote fulfill their dreams to realize that they were chasing something that wasn't going to make them happy to begin with. And to also realize that that wasn't really what you thought would make you happy. Because there's some women who do have dreams, admirations and goals and stuff like that. But, their ultimate happiness is going to be having a family, being a wife, being a mother. And they gladly step into that role as not like I'm giving up anything, but like I'm gaining so much. And so I think being at this space where she can be honest enough to say that she's not there, if there's a career opportunity and, he's not willing to work with her or whatever, that she's going to do that thing. I mean, I think that's at least honest enough so that people aren't wasting time in relationships, and we got to give her some points for that.
But put God in your relationship.
It's easier said than done.
Right.
It really be a whole bunch of bullshit right before you get to that part.
No, it is. It is. But it's like, if I got my dreams and I know that I gotta go to LA and be this filmmaker, then I gotta go to LA. Like, I can't. What do we gotta look at our parents and our grandparents. And what happens when they gave up their dreams for their partner?
I did not watch this video, guys. I did not watch this video, but I just be knowing. When people talk, I be knowing where they're coming from.
And how...
Are you speaking from, the women's perspective?
No, I'm just saying in general, we can look at our community and see...
I mean,
it sounds selfish to ask me to not
my
to...
parents giving up their dream.
Right.
Honestly, I'm not gonna
Right.
lie.
Yeah, but they probably also think about...
What they want to do.
What they could have done.
Yeah.
What if? I don't want to have kids with what if, child. I know y'all don't either.
So true, but I think once you put yourself in a relationship, now it's on both people to come to a compromise. You can't be selfishly like, well, I want to pursue something, and if you're not here, you're not. Like, that's, to me, is selfish.
Ultimatums.
Some type of compromise. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, you go chase your dreams, just like somebody else. Like, we got dreams. Like, am I going to automatically be like, yo, I can't do this relationship now? Or am I going to be like, you know what? I want this to work. I understand that I'm doing my dream, or whatever the case is. I want you to be here for the ride, right? With us, so we can build together. But if you feel like, well, I just want to take this ride by myself, and if I come out of this, then we could maybe get together. Like, that's not compromise.
I feel like, I don't know.
But I think, I completely understand what he's saying. But I think that would show that the two of you are not on the same page, or the two of you don't have the same feelings about that relationship. And I think it's best that you find that out early on. Because if she's saying that I'm not there yet, or I'm willing to put my career and my stuff first, then she's going to have to deal with the repercussions for her actions. Whether that's that she's never going to have a guy like you ever again enter her life, that marriage will maybe be off the table, children might be off the table because she constantly put her career first. That's something that she's going to personally have to deal with. But at least I personally feel, thinking of the man, that it would give him the space to find somebody who is not going to put anything else before him. Right? It would give him that space to realize that he's an option in her life. And so he can find somebody else that, would make him a priority in their life.
If you about to leave a relationship, you don't want to, I think that it would be selfish of me to drag you along for the ride if I kind of knew you didn't want to be there either. Like, if I know that I'm gonna have to go to LA, I'm gonna have to go to China, I'm gonna have to go to Japan, like I'm gonna have to go all these different places, and I'm not gonna see you for 6 months, and you need to see me X amount of time. It's like that's selfish of me to be like, come stay with me while I do this, while I travel the world, and you stay here.
But that's an assumption.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
you gotta have that conversation.
You gotta let them make that decision.
You can't just assume that's gonna be
I think just to stay on track, like when a relationship isn't serving you anymore, I think it comes down to you're not getting any growth out of it. You know, sometimes people are in relationships that's one-sided, where they're giving their all to that person, and they're not getting back anything. You're not getting back support. They're not getting back the same type of effort. You know what I mean? So that's when the relationship, and then obviously the toxicity. You know what I mean? The arguing. There's no compromise. You can't get your point across without it looking like, oh, they're nagging or they're complaining, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So when you can't grow anymore from a relationship, I feel like it doesn't serve you anymore.
Well, what about the part where people don't realize? Well, they probably realize, but they don't know how to approach it when you outgrow your partner. So you guys could have met on this level where y'all both on the floor, and then you just slightly start growing, and you just start seeing them still standing at fucking level one. You be like,
knowing though,
they do know.
Someone be knowing when they a little bit more, and you be having that Captain Saver or Captain Saver nigga complex, and you take on that project. And then you just get tired of it. But I think you be knowing.
I believe you know. You just you spent so much time. A lot of people don't like starting over. You get what I'm saying? So you like, well, I've been with this fucking person for fucking 5-10 years. They gonna get to where we at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna leave them behind. I don't want to start over. I want you to get where I'm at.
Well, how can a woman be behind? Like if she wants to be domesticated, right? She wants to have your kids and blah blah blah, but she's just not like financially inclined or business savvy. Like, would that mean that she's like below you or something? Or like, let's say you have she needs you financially. Like, could that be holding you back?
I wasn't like specifying like just a gender, because there's men that a woman could outgrow a man as well.
Yeah.
But in that aspect, like I feel like even if you can't provide what I'm providing, there's some other element of which you should be better at than I am to make my life easier.
Okay.
So if I'm paying all the bills, you should learn how to manage all the motherfucking bills.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like a back and forth type of situation.
Or learn how to invest or something. Or you should be the best fucking cook in the world or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? You got something.
The adulation, instead of just taking away from my resources, my energy, like now I gotta work. We in a relationship, we got family. Now I may have to work 80 hours a week now. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm out here working for my family, but that's taken away from my love life, my children's life, my family life, because I'm out here trying to provide. You know what I mean? So
I think it's just a point of like not being like stagnant, right? Like nobody wants to be with somebody who's stagnant. If you're learning something and you're growing, it's extremely important, especially if you want to be married, that you grow together and you learn things together, because that is one of the biggest reasons that people break up or the relationship fails, is because people start growing in different directions. But like it didn't start that way. It started off with one person learning something and the other person ignoring it or not willing to comply or not willing to be down with it. And now you venture off and it just breaks apart because the foundation is off. So I think it's that. And of course, toxicity. You know, if it becomes an extremely toxic situation, it doesn't make sense, right? Like if there's a possibility that somebody might go to prison based off of the context of you guys' relationship, like it doesn't make sense anymore. If there's fighting and stuff, that's when the bottom falls out. It does not make sense. But I think it also just depends on when it comes to a relationship not serving. I think it depends on the level that you're at too, because I can see a relationship, but I think with marriage, it becomes a lot different because sometimes people just go through things, rough patches. I've heard, a woman say she didn't like her man for like about 3 years, but they had to work through it. They had to get through it. They were just going through, a financial burden within their relationship for a while, and they had to get through certain things because the relationship or the marriage meant more to them than their feelings at the time. So I think it just depends on different aspects before you can find out what exactly doesn't serve you.
And take away from a relationship, and you might outgrow it sometimes. Like,
one thing that I will say though, I feel like men need to we need to normalize, and I don't want to offend no women
Yeah.
when I say this.
Offend them.
It's coming.
Offend them.
Is right here.
But men need to normalize almost like training your woman, right? In a sense where, a lot of women have, we've been self-sufficient, independent. Whatever you want to call it. So we're used to a certain, paradigm. So let's say we get in a relationship and we don't actually know how to communicate with a partner effectively, or we don't know how we're getting in arguments or whatever. Sometimes you have to be patient enough to be like, no, talk to me like this. I'm your man. You can talk to your homegirls like that or your brother like that, but I'm your man. And you can't just be like giving up on your woman after the fifth argument. Sometimes it's going to take 15 arguments for her to realize, okay, this is how I talk to my man. Because I wasn't, I was.
Before she continues, I completely agree with what she's saying. Y'all know I agree. Okay, y'all knew I was going to agree with that. But I agree with what she's saying, but the thing is that men definitely need to train their women, but women need to be trainable. Because he can't tell you to do nothing. A part of that, those 15 arguments, is you telling him, I had it before you, I can have it after you, who you talking, I can do better by myself. So this is an issue. I don't think it's really the men with the unwillingness to train. I think it's the women with the unwillingness to be calm enough to be able to say, yes, no, I understand, I get where you're coming from, and that's part of the problem. One of the biggest problems that men have right now is women cooperating with them. So, of course, they need to train them, but when you're trying to train somebody who's not coachable, how is that going to work?
Train for that.
I agree.
So it's like, is it a time limit, a time frame on?
Oh, well, I'm not a man, so I can't.
Maybe not.
I'm asking the men, like,
What was the direct question?
Like, is it a time frame on a woman
Making that change?
Making a change,
making the changes,
being, I guess, less independent and.
Well, it's not necessarily
learning the submissive role.
Yeah,
right.
You gotta be willing. Like some people, women and men, are just stuck in they're so stuck in their ways. You know what I mean? Like what you said about learning, women, or training your woman or whatever. Women ain't gonna like that word.
Right.
Well, look, I'm not gonna hold you though.
You training her to be a slave. That's what they gonna.
No, but I'm not even gonna.
I'm not your dog.
Wait, hold on. I'm not even gonna hold you though. My girl, she's spitting. All right, because like men, I think that like sometimes, or especially because independent black queens be independent black queening, and at this point we 30, we've been doing this for a decade. So it's like if you've been independent black queening, you feel me? Like, but if you've been like doing your own thing and you meet somebody and like you want to be loved a certain way, you want to be talked to a certain way, like you kind of gotta like you gotta leap.
This is a problem, though, because she said they be independent black queening. But I think this is one of the biggest issues, is that you think so highly of yourself that you think you are a queen. And if you do feel like that, nothing wrong with that, right? Like if you have self-confidence or you're self-aware or the qualities that you have instilled in you, it makes you feel that way, that's fine. But what is a queen without a king? What is that? I think we also have to differentiate that there's women who are wives who just don't have a husband yet, but they have every quality of a wife. And then there's women out there who are independent and would not make good partners because of their independence, right? Because they're not willing to drop that ego. So I think that's the thing, is like, you have to be willing to give, yes, but also you have to know that you need the counterpart. It can't just be an addition in your life. It has to be somebody that you need and you understand that you need them.
You want me to be submissive, right? I'm here for submitting to your man. Girls, quote me, submit to your man, get that
the right man, though.
love that man.
Yeah, right
but
man,
submission requires you to lead me. So if I'm not about to close my eyes and let you take me anywhere, I'm not submitting. Like that's submitting.
It shouldn't be that you're not submitting. It should be that you're not going to be with him. It should be that. And can we also be honest to the fact that a lot of you guys don't want to close your eyes and have that man lead you just because you're controlling and you've been leading yourself, like you said, for the past decade, and you can't let the reins go as well.
Like if I trust you wholeheartedly and to make decisions for us, to guide me, to like that submission. And I think
would you let him lead though?
I think that's the issue we are having, because when men are trying to now lead a woman, now it becomes like you're trying to control them. So now there's pushback on it. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's where the discrepancy come from. I get what y'all saying, but sometimes when a man is trying to lead and you have this woman who has been independent and whatever the case is, you know,
why is it always what you say?
Pushback naturally, because it's like, all right, well, I said this yesterday. The women be saying my own daddy don't even tell me what to do. You know what I mean? So it's like there's that pushback. Now it's hard to communicate effectively because you feel like I'm trying to control you or dictate what you do, and I'm really not.
Look, y'all want to be independent or y'all want to be wives? Make up your mind.
Can men be submissive too? Isn't it like
men?
I believe men are submissive.
It's a give and take.
Men are submissive to the duty. Women want a man to be submissive to them. Right? Men are submissive to the duty of marriage, but women want to know if men can be submissive so they can say, well, I'm submitting to you, but you're not submitting to me. It's still a power thing. It's still a power thing.
This is my question. Women want to be independent and do their own thing for, you said, for a decade or whatever. But you see, you have been, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then when you meet a man, that decade of being independent is stopping you from being a good partner in a relationship.
No, you just have to unlearn certain habits.
Exactly.
Right,
That's hard. That don't happen overnight.
Yeah, but men.
This is what she was saying. Like, some men be mad about.
I don't think men are patient enough for the process.
I don't know.
Some men.
Some are.
But I think this is. So I'm sorry. I don't want to stop it too much, but I feel like I'm there. But the thing is that a lot of women are saying this, like, oh, you know, a man has to be patient enough to teach me. It's not going to happen overnight, but you're aiding to the problem by, what do you think? You being more alone is going to somehow miraculously is going to be easy for you to cooperate with a man? It's not, because the longer you're alone, the longer you're going to create certain habits, the harder it's going to be for a man to tell you anything. Over and over and over again. Like, it's always going to be the same. So you talk about your decade, then it's going to be 15 years, and it's going to be like, well, I had 2 decades of doing it by myself. And so it's always going to be that kind of thing. And particularly for the woman who was saying something about her career, if you're saying you've been independent for a decade, not by choice, but because you are, but at the same time, if Mr. Right comes along, you're not willing to submit to him in this place of your career. So the same thing that you're asking women, like, do you want to be submissive, and like, do you want to be a wife, or do you want to be independent? I think people would be asking you that same question as well.
But my thing is, men do the same thing, but when they get in a relationship, they're not having this issue with, oh, I can't be in a relationship because I've been independent my whole decade.
I haven't been romantic. That's the issue that's starting to happen with men. Oh, like, I haven't been on this level of romance, so I'm not like treating you a certain way. So it's both people learn something. I think that's
bullshit.
You do think that's bullshit, but how many of your friends have
how's he getting you,
super fucking romantic for their girls? Or did they learn that? Did they get taught that?
We gotta stop watching these movies. We gotta stop watching these romantic comedies, these love stories, this La La Land stuff that, you know, TV is selling us dreams. And it doesn't mean that romance does not exist in relationships. It does, but come on. Like, that's really, not saying it's not important. Romance is a part of a relationship, but it's not the most important thing, or the most important factor. Because a lot of women are in relationships with sneaky links, and he don't provide no romance, and they're completely happy because they're satisfied intimately. So we got to stop trying to make these men be Prince Charming from the movie. Like, take it for what it really is.
I also believe that what you guys find romantic from the average Joe, from somebody else, I'm not even gonna go there, but you know, we got to go above and beyond.
Go there real quick.
Can you go? How you romancing us? Tell us.
All right, look, there's a difference from like what we may find what we're trying to do for you guys is romantic, like, you know, picking the evening out, roses on the bed. Oh, that shit is whack and played out to y'all. A night riding the bike, going into the city or something, picnics. That's all corny because niggas ain't spending no money. But y'all go with Tommy, Billy, and Willie up the hill on his bike, and y'all be on his pegs, not saying nothing. I ain't gonna hold you.
With a basket.
I'm like, bro, ain't no black man can never get away with it.
No.
You need to go on a picnic. Bring the Popeyes.
Y'all been so conditioned to think that white men are the epitome of being romantic. Because of the mute.
Stop.
Romanticism is not the most important thing to me,
like,
honestly.
well, they not niggas, but don't nobody want no white man. Stop it.
Yeah.
But I do think
if you on this podcast and you dated a white man, raise your hand. If you want to date a white man, raise your hand. If you want to be with a white man, raise your hand.
I love my black king.
Hello.
Well, shout out to 3. Okay. But I do think social media is making it hard for women too, because a lot of women are seeing what these celebrities are doing, and then they're trying to compare that to what your man doing, and they're like, yeah, this ain't it.
I think romance is superficial. Like a guy being good at romance is not going to make a girl follow him or be submissive. Mm-hmm. It's really like his emotional maturity. Like, let's say we get in a disagreement or whatever, and it's a little back and forth. Is the man gonna be chill and be like, okay, whatever, like I hear what you're saying, blah blah blah, or is he just gonna go back and forth with you and y'all just toe to toe?
But how many times are we gonna have to take the L without y'all being accountable?
Exactly.
As long as y'all have this, y'all gotta keep y'all emotional maturity at a certain level.
But what that got to do with women being accountable for what they?
She had me. Guys, she had me. But it's the point when she's saying, oh, because y'all had this, y'all are supposed to be like this. And it's like, yeah, but women use men as punching bags because they think because you're a man, I can unload all this onto you and you have to be able to keep your composure. Like, at some point, no matter what the situation, the man is going to be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, now you're forcing him to become toxic, or you're trying to draw that side out of him because you want to be able to unleash your emotions. And that's... we should talk about the fact that you're not checking your own emotions before you talk about the effect of not checking your emotions.
Wrong. Y'all have argument with us, and then we still gotta fucking... Yeah, all right, you right, baby. No, next time. Next time, baby.
I didn't say you right. I didn't say you right. I just meant saying, like, well, you know what? Instead of
going
yelling,
tit for tat, going back and forth.
So
instead of yelling,
it sounds like you're saying women have no emotional maturity. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
You said what? No,
I'm
saying
saying
the men.
I'm
the
saying
man
that
the man. She's saying that the man is supposed to all the time,
regardless.
I kind of feel
that's
like
kind
y'all
of a part of manhood, kind of.
Right, because women we're naturally wired to be emotional. So, as you being a man, y'all are supposed to get us together.
Y'all telling us what a man's supposed to do. Let us know what a woman's supposed to do, because y'all women.
Y'all supposed to lead. Y'all supposed to lead too.
Y'all don't let us do that.
You don't argue about that though.
Y'all don't let us do it.
How do we not let y'all
don't argue about that?
I let my man lead.
Period.
How do we not
having a
let you
good
guys
time up
lead?
in the front?
How do women?
I have a really hard time when women say that they let their man lead. That really bothers me, because that means that there's something in them that's saying, you're only doing this because I said you could. You know, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I get what they're saying, but it just kind of rubs me the wrong way, because it kind of shows that mentality of like they're still in control of the entire situation. And women who think that they're really in control of relationships, that's a whole different problem.
Let men lead.
Because they want to be combative. Yeah, all the time. If I'm trying to pull you this way, no, we should go this way. Bro, the right way is this way. No, we should go that way.
Okay, wait, so I have a question.
Wait,
I do have a question though, like about that. So, wait, first off, I have two questions. One, what is a woman supposed to do? It's like, I feel like the things that I think a woman's supposed to do, they're gonna be like, women not supposed to do that. Everybody's supposed to do that.
No, but that's
like,
you gotta.
How men feel. Like,
because it's like, I feel like if we.
Are you in a relationship?
I'm in a situation that I love to be in.
Okay.
So I'm enjoying.
Are you
He's
submissive?
watching this right now.
You said what?
Are you submissive?
I think I am 70% submissive.
Okay.
I think that the other 30, you better buy me that rock and I'll do whatever you want, baby.
Okay.
But like, you gotta keep something for the
So
day.
can a man say I could be a 70% provider until I marry you? Then I could be.
Well,
Can I hold things back from you until we get married? Does that work for men too?
What is different from
What the fuck?
provider?
Yeah, like I mean, like if you're financially providing for me, then I'm submitting. Like I'm doing.
That comes naturally.
No. I'm saying if you're
doesn't.
financially providing.
No, it doesn't. Because women will be like, yeah, you pay all the bills, but that don't mean you could tell me what to do. Like, come on, that's not true.
100%, then you're gonna get the whole 100%. But
what?
In the sense of like, all right, so if you're providing me 100%,
she can lean into her femininity.
I live with you. So when that happens, I mean, I already do this because I'm already cooking, cleaning. I take care of my nigga. Like that's on whatever. Like laundry done, house clean, dogs walk. We try. It's
working
sticky.
on that.
It's a sticky situation. Like it's sticky. Like and it's not.
If you're doing what you got to do, he treating you right.
Yeah, like I don't think that like look. The only title I care about is being somebody's wife because that's the only one that matters, and that's the one that like
you are single until you married. Like,
that's the one that's gonna be like we locked in. Like you could be my boyfriend and you still be, but once you're my husband and we go before God and we decide together that we gonna be a unit, then we a unit. And so to me, that's the only one that matters. So like,
I think there's a lot of gamble on the man's part because women are often saying, well, when you make me your wife, then you can unlock these benefits. And now we got to take that gamble. Then when we do marry you, then y'all don't unlock those benefits.
But those things should already be happening. You should already be able to see.
Exactly. You're giving up 7, you only doing 70%.
I mean,
that's a high percentage, though.
That's extremely high.
That's a C.
That's a C.
C's get degrees.
You bring that home to your mom, she's going to be like,
I got C's get degrees, okay? And the thing is...
But wait, what is included in that 30% that you're not giving him?
No, Allah.
So if you went to a surgeon, and he said that I got a C in my class, you letting that surgeon operate on you?
That surgeon is probably already operating on you.
Yeah. 70%. That's a lot.
I do like her answer. If she holding that womb for me, then that's a point.
That's a 30.
Okay.
What you mean? Like,
that's a 30.
I ain't pushing out no babies. I better have 2 of them.
Okay.
No thanks.
Like, but
Okay, yeah.
like it's like that's in that 30. I think that I mean I kind of do all the other stuff, but like that is really. The whole 30.
That's big. That's big.
That's the whole 30, basically.
Transition to another topic. I feel like it already goes.
But I think that makes sense. I mean, I don't even think that has to do with like, necessarily submission unless it's something that he wants and you're like, no, I can't provide that for you until I'm married to you. But I think that's understandable and I think that's fair. I mean, hello, I think that makes sense. But I love this conversation. I want to know what you guys think about this conversation in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you.